This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Mental health is real. Seek help, end the stigma. On the news this evening, Secretary to Rivers State Government denies knowledge of secret employment in civil service. Stakeholders differ on call for Governor Fubara to probe emergency rule. Clerics raise concern over insecurity, bad governance in Nigeria. NDLEA raises concern over online drug trade in Rivers State. On the foreign scene, FBI releases images of person of interest in Charlie Kirk shooting. I'm Sam Chinedu, and the news continues after the break.
The new era congratulates Prince Muche. We, the entire members of the New Era, a South-South social cultural organization for good governance and positive development, congratulates the former Deputy Speaker, Federal House of Representatives, High Chief Prince Chibudom Muche, OFR, SMA1 of Ekpeland,
on his well-deserved appointment as the Chairman, South-South Development Commission, SSDC.
We also commend the efforts of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and the Minister, Federal Capital Territory, Chief Barrister Nyesom Ezenwa-Wike, for bringing Ekpe ethnic nation to limelight.
This is signed by Ernest Obiri, President General, Moses Clement, Secretary, Matthew Ahamefula Leo, BOT Chairman, and Chaka Olu Ezekiel, Second Elder. New Era.
Welcome back. The Secretary to the Rivers State Government, Professor Lucky Warika, says he is unaware of any secret employment going on at the civil service. Professor Warika said this during an interview with correspondent Oenka Chimosu. He also clarified that the verification exercise is still ongoing, especially for workers at the local government level. The SSG insists that 5 billion naira was actually saved for August as a result of the verification.
Not made account to Rivers people. We have not seen any project being even initiated by them. And I think there's so much of secrecy as to the activities of government under their time. We've heard that employment of certain individuals into Rivers State Civil Service who are not indigents of the place without the due process of law has been carried out. I'm not against,
Apologies for that. Recall that a youth activist in Rivers State, Charles Jaja, accused the Rivers State government of engaging in secret employment. Mr. Jaja also called for accountability of funds accrued to the state during the emergency period.
Not made account to Rivers people. We have not seen any project being even initiated by them. And I think there's so much of secrecy as to the activities of government under their time. We've heard that employment of certain individuals into Rivers State Civil Service who are not indigents of the place without the due process of law has been carried out. I'm not against, people being employed, Where would Rivers people turn to when they want to seek for jobs? I think this is not part of the peace deal and we are going to challenge it.
In the meantime, Chairman of Civil Liberties Organizations in Rivers State, Sonny Dada, has called on suspended Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara to audit the financial activities of the sole administrator when he's reinstated. Mr. Dada told our correspondent Suebi Wari that the audit will give Rivers people clarity on how their money was used.
What exactly is the sole administrator doing? Is it just to sit over the monthly allocation, FAC allocation, and the IGRO? And that is why our recommendation is that once the emergency is called off, the first thing the governor should do is to set up a probe panel. Our FAC allocations and our IGROs in the last 6 months, how these allocations were used, which sector were they deployed to?
But Port Harcourt-based public affairs analyst Obiwan Akawa believes a probe is not necessary.
there wouldn't be any need for that, because if he does, it will escalate tension. It is not yet to Uhuru for either of the parties, especially the governor, take it as his fate and then play what I will call a formality match, because he has no stake in what is going to play out. You can't tell me the governor can come now and initiate a probe to challenge all that had transacted during the emergency rule. It will be like trying to ignite a volcano.
He argued that the political atmosphere shows genuine peace is yet to return. On his part, Lagos-based political analyst Liberus Oshoma backed calls for a review of the emergency.
You need to know what was done right and what was done wrong, so that you'll be able to, correct whatever it is. Without looking at it would be a mistake. I would advise ordinarily for him to, I'm not saying do a public show of it, but look at what was done in your absence. Look at it, look at the good one, look at the bad one, adopt the good ones. Then the bad ones, condemn them and ensure that, they are not done. But not to make a public show of, to look back where the problem started from, reevaluate the interregnum.
He, however, expressed doubts that Governor Fubara can take such bold steps, given his recent reconciliation with his political godfather.
Look at how the funds of the state have been spent. Let the assembly call for scrutiny of the expenses, how much was received, what were they spent for, But I can tell you that it does not have to do that, because they say he who comes to equity must come with clean hands. Governor also has kowtowed to the whims and caprices of his estranged godfather. They will just consistently tell him the road not to tread, and if he treads on that road carefully, so that he can survive the remaining days of his administration.
Moving on. Some prominent clergymen are raising fresh concerns over bad governance, corruption, and rising insecurity in the country. Speaking with correspondent Obi Oruwari, the senior pastor of Kingsway International Christian Center, Pastor Matthew Ashimolowo, says politics in Nigeria should be run on a part-time basis to discourage corruption in public service.
First thing we need to do, in my opinion, and I may not be right, and at 73, I have a right to speak my mind. Politics should be made to be a part-time thing. The day you no longer have massive budgets, massive inducements for being a senator, member of House of Reps, that day, only few people will seek to be politicians, and then the system will be better.
Pastor Ashimolowo explained that such a system would help reduce corruption. He also urged the government to holistically tackle kidnapping in the South and banditry in the North.
We need to look at Nigeria holistically. When we try to deal with Boko Haram, then there's another one called kidnapping. When we try to deal with kidnapping, then there is terrorism. The reason is because you have a hydra-headed snake. You need to find a system that deals with all the head of the snake all at once. If not, as you are cutting kidnap head, you are having bandit head show up. As you are dealing with bandit head, you are finding. So we need a holistic system, and we need it quick.
The cleric further called for urgent steps to address unemployment, which he described as one of the root causes of social injustice in the country.
And I've asked myself, why does the United Kingdom work? Why does America work? America had a peanut farmer, yet the system worked, because the system was bigger than the peanut farmer. Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan, yet the system worked. And soldier go, soldier come, barrack remains the same. The problem of Nigeria is, if you put an angel to run Nigeria, forgive me to say, at 73, the nation will not work until we fix the system, fix the politics.
On his part, International Director of Greater Evangelism World Crusade, Pastor Isaac Olori, identified corruption as Nigeria's biggest problem.
Particularly in Nigeria, we have a challenge. I've once said in a place that there is a challenge of the spirit of corruption, and those in leadership are perpetuating it. And because they perpetuate it, it's becoming difficult to arrest. But the church has a place, the place of prayer, the place of teaching her membership to live the example.
Pastor Olori stressed that church leaders must lead by example in their teachings, adding that the church also has a vital role to play in the fight against corruption.
I believe that this nation will be changed. Those who have held it hostage, their time will be up soon. Some of us are working in offices because the corruption is not only in the political place, it's also there in the grassroots. You deal with people in the office, files can be missing. Every church, every minister should live up to the responsibility of the calling of preaching the true gospel. That's why you see our emphasis. We stand on the gospel of Christ. That's why we don't teach people how to make money. The church is not a business place.
The Federal High Court in Abuja has issued an order restraining the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) from recognizing David Mark as interim national chairman and a former Osun State Governor Rauf Aregbesola as interim national secretary of the African Democratic Congress (ADC). This follows a motion ex parte dated September 2, 2025 and filed by Nafiu Gombe. The order of interim injunction issued by Justice Emeka Nwite also restrains INEC from recognizing the representatives of Mark and Aregbesola pending the hearing of the motion. On notice already filed, the INEC website recognized Mark and Aregbesola as the interim national chairman and national secretary, respectively. Some motorists plying the Chokocho Road in Eche local government area have called on the council chairman, Chima Njoku, to give a facelift to the deplorable sections of the road. Speaking with correspondent Nnamdi Samwala, some of the respondents said there is a growing number of accidents in the area due to the failed parts of the road, particularly the parts connecting Umuechem Eche and Ibueche. They also called for the installation of streetlights to ease night driving.
From to many places where this road go. So they supposed to walk out, but I don't know why they don't want to walk out.
The road no they good. Make the road they good. They motorable. As a new local government chairman don't come, we just the beggar. Men look after those things.
This is Chokochu. Accident always occur because there is no traffic control. Recently, one accident happened. I don't know whether the guy has survived it or not.
It's also part of his job. For him to walk the road, at least he will still give him more chance of becoming chairman again.
The regent of Oko Royal House of Kula Kingdom, Chief Tamuno Emi Owen Felix, says the Amanabo of Kula Kingdom, His Royal Majesty King Bodilon Allen Ekine Oko, the 28th, has been dethroned. In a statement, the Oko Royal House of Kula Kingdom says the decision follows a comprehensive review of the reign of King Bodilon Oko and the volume of the unforgivable offences allegedly committed against the Oko royal family and the people of Kula Kingdom. The statement listed the grounds for dethronement to include breach of trust, signing of agreements with external opponents without due consultations, alleged sale of communal properties for personal enrichment and inequitable resource distribution, among others. Chief Tamuno Emi Owen Felix, who said the family has appointed him as the regent of Oko Royal House, spoke about this in an interview.
We have dethroned him. We have revoked all those documents. All the powers of attorneys he signed as an individual or with any other person, they've all been revoked. If any person is still interested in doing business in Bilema community or the Oko Royal House by way of we donating a power of attorney, he should meet the new government.
Chief Felix also accused King Bodilon Oko of divisive leadership. He alleged that despite money accrued from oil companies and OML 25, the people still in poverty.
Since 1996, that the former King Oko the 27th died, the family has been in disunity. And we've discovered that is the cause because he has never agreed to any form of settlement. If you go to our community today, the people are living in abject poverty, irrespective of the billions of naira coming to the community from oil company. As I'm talking with you now, we are the owners of OML 25, and what is given to the family, to the community, does not reach the people. So we have to dethrone him.
Those who signed the statement are Regent Belema Community, Alabo AK, Atabilaye Dia, Prince Major Ogieibo, Chief T.O. Felix, Chief Wariboko Olali Mboko, Chief Who Knows Ngogo II, and Chief Second Bibi. Others are Chief Lucky Oko Agala, Mpaka Bauri, Igonikon, and King Emmanuel Alalibo. When contacted, Amanabo of Kula Kingdom, His Royal Majesty King Bodilon Allen Ekine Oko, the 28th, said those dethroning him are not members of Oko Royal House and that his opponents are using them to assassinate his character. He said he was duly crowned, and nobody has the power to remove him. He also denied receiving money from Renaissance, describing it as false allegations. According to him, he is concerned about the development of the Kula Kingdom. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll tell you about the concerns. Welcome back. The federal government has scrapped the 5% excise duty tax previously imposed on telecommunications services, including voice calls and data usage. The National Orientation Agency made this known in a post via its official X page on Thursday. The post said the executive vice chairman of the Nigerian Communications Commission, Dr. Aminu Maida, disclosed that President Bola Tinubu ordered the removal of the tax during discussions on the recently passed Finance Act. The NCC boss said the move is expected to ease cost pressures for millions of mobile users in the country. Maida added that the president's intervention was aimed at preventing additional financial strain on citizens while supporting the digital economy. The Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, says it recovered more than 10 billion naira for aggrieved customers between March and August 2025, following complaints lodged across 30 sectors of the economy. In an updated data released by the Commission, the recovery stemmed from grievances such as unfair charges, unauthorized deductions, service failures, deceptive marketing, defective products, and delays in redress. In a statement signed by its Director of Corporate Affairs on Daje Ijagu, the FCCPC confirmed that 9,091 complaints were resolved during the reporting period. Executive Vice Chairman, CEO of the FCCPC, Mr. Tunji Bello, said the figures highlight widespread consumer frustration, particularly in financial services. Center for Advanced Law Research at the River State University, in conjunction with F1 Team Associates, have announced a 2-day sensitization program on host community development provisions of the Petroleum Industry Act, PIA, across the 23 local government areas of River State. Addressing newsmen in Port Harcourt, the lead consultant, F1 Team Associate Jude Ndubisi, explained the beauty of the PIA, adding that River State, as an oil-producing state, has a stake in the successful implementation of the Act.
The PIA brings together all prior existing legislation into one document. It creates an entire chapter of the legislation for petroleum host community development. Fundamentally, the Host Community Development Trust becomes the definitive platform for engagement between all producing companies and the oil-producing communities. The Rivers State is a major oil-producing state in the Nigerian Federation and has a stake in the successful implementation of the Petroleum Industry Act.
NDBC said the two-day workshop sensitization will ensure that stakeholders across various local government areas are equipped with the provisions of the PIA and the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Host Communities Development Regulations.
Authoritative, robust, and extensive knowledge with regards to the Petroleum Industry Act is presently a restricted intellectual space due to the novelty of the Act. This two-day workshop sensitization series aims to ensure that the local government council in Rivers State, being the closest to the oil-producing community, with responsibilities involving and relating to interface with host community, are well intellectually resourced.
Correspondent Nnamdi Samwala reports that the event will be held at Golden Tube on September 22 and 23. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, in Rivers State says the use of illicit drugs is rising across the state. The NDLEA Assistant Commander of Narcotics, James Awoji, made this known to correspondent Martha Okere. He said drug use is now widespread and can be found in every nook and cranny of the state, with Borokiri in Port Harcourt, popularly known as Abuja Down, identified as the most concentrated area. He said the substances being abused include cannabis sativa, Canadian and Ghana loud, cocaine, and crystal meth, popularly called Nkurumiri. He linked the drug problem to the increasing quest for quick money. He said youths are said to be the most common users, while more women are now consuming drugs than men.
Both streets and even in their houses, they do these drugs. Because of the fact that they know that they are making quick money from it, they go into it. The commoners are the youths, even in schools. The men are making money from it. Because of that, they also introduce the female ones into it. And that's why when the female one gets into the drugs, they even want to take it more than the men because of the anxiety that is involved.
The NDLEA Assistant Commander of Narcotics also gave reasons for the rising drug problem.
Most ones are peer groups. One person introduces another person, lack of job, unemployment, quest for crime. Most people go into this crime not with their clear eyes. They feel they should have one or two substances in their system to be able to execute whatever plan they have for the crime to be committed. Some give reason that their parents are not taking good care of them. Some who are passing through psychological trauma, they just feel they should take one or two things to keep them alive.
Mr. Awoji also raised concern over a growing trend where drug dealers are moving their business online.
Instead of them to deliver the drugs themselves, because of the fear of the unknown, they give it to dispatch rider who deliver to the caller, and the user gets his drugs and go to his comfort zone and uses it. Now, if peradventure that dispatch rider is arrested, by the time you want to trace the source of the drug, even the dispatch rider will not have enough details about the person. So in that case, the dispatch rider will be charged for possession, even though it's not for dealing.
Awoji said dispatch riders have the right to check and question the content of any package they are asked to deliver.
Most of them, because they give them more money, they don't care to check. Most of them also know what they are carrying. But ignorance won't be an excuse. Already you are involved. So I'm advising them to be careful with the messages they are taking. Some will even wrap it like shawarma. You go and in the name of delivering shawarma to the next point, you are helping the guy to deliver drug. So I will advise them to be very careful and ask questions before they take any message.
The news continues after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. On the international scene, the FBI has released the images of a person of interest in the Charlie Kirk shooting. The killer is still at large, but a high-powered rifle has been found in nearby woods, as well as a footwear impression and a forearm imprint. Kirk, an ally of President Trump, was shot at a Utah university. Officials say the suspect appears to be of college age and fled into a neighborhood. Earlier, 2 people questioned by police were released. President Donald Trump says he will award Kirk the Presidential Medal of Freedom posthumously. And that's the news package for this hour. But just before we go, here's a quick recap of our headlines. We told you the Secretary to Rivers State Government, Professor Lucky Warika, said he's unaware of any secret employment in the civil service. You heard the stakeholders have differed on the call for Governor Fubara to probe emergency rule. We reported that some clerics raised concern over insecurity and bad governance in Nigeria. The NDLEA raised concern over online drug trade in Rivers State. On the foreign scene, you heard that the FBI has released images of person of interest in Charlie Kirk shooting. The news was edited by Onyekachi Wonsu. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808 721 7215. I'm Sam Chinedu. Thanks for listening.